Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. I hope you are doing really well. And before we dive into the match preview today, we do very briefly have to speak on our Moroccan off-man, Mama. I had a very late night yesterday. I was watching along with the match, as I'm sure many of you were as well. It finished at about 2 a.m. So yeah, feeling a little bit tired today. But firstly, a massive congratulations to Morocco and Mama. For the first time in their history, they've won the FIFA Under-20s World Cup. Off-man Mama was also awarded the prestigious Adidas Golden Ball, which means he was voted the player of the tournament. And looking at previous winners of that award, it includes the likes of Sergio Aguero, Lionel Messi, Paul Pogba, and now Watford's very own off-man Mama. He scored 1 goal, registered 4 assists, and put in many good performances throughout. So a big shout out to him, and I'm sure when he returns back to England, he'll receive a rapturous reception from the Watford squad and the fans when he first steps on to the Vicarage Road pitch. So once again, a big congratulations to Morocco and off-man Mama. Okay, before we speak on West Brom, I do want to say that I maybe overreacted slightly after Watford's defeat away to Sheffield United. Clearly, I had a lot of frustration and I felt the need to vent that out to you guys watching at home. But what I will say again is that, if we continue to see Musa Sissoko and Edu Kayembe starting in these wide attacking midfield positions or out wide on the wing, it's going to be really difficult for me to get on board with Javi's project and what he wants to build at Watford. And as we just discussed, we have off-man Mama, who will be returning to the club soon. He's a very exciting attacking talent. Kwadwo Bar, Rocco Vata, Georgie Shakfatatse, Luka Kiramgard, Mamadou Doumbia. The list goes on. Watford have so many exciting youngsters full of potential, and to see Sissoko and Kayembe consistently receive a lot of first team minutes is a massive bugbear for me. So firstly, going into this game, I do not want to see them to starting once again. And look, generally, I'm really looking forward to this one. Javi Gracia returning to Vicarage Road for only the second time. I'm sure the reception he'll receive from the crowd will be really good. But I think generally the Watford fan base, after what's happened with Tom and Paolo, we're feeling quite impatient at the moment, I think is the word. And if Javi fails to win during the week, or we suffer quite a heavy defeat, and then we have to go away to Coventry, unfortunately for him, regardless of the credit Javi has in the bank, I do think it will turn quite sour very quickly, which is why when it comes to team selection, I don't think we should overcomplicate it too much. For me, this team very much suits a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. Play your best players in their best positions, and whilst they may have some inconsistent games, and that's only natural given their age, I think in the long term that will suit this group a lot more than what we saw under Paolo and what we've seen so far with Javi. Of course, he's only had one game, so I'm not going to be too harsh and critical on him, but I hope he saw enough against Sheffield United to at least say, look, I shouldn't really be playing Sissoko and Kayembe consistently in this Watford team. I've said before, Sissoko shouldn't be really anywhere near the team. Kayembe, somewhat, I can understand why certain fans like him. I've said before, his physical profile is quite unique, and on occasion, he has a rocket of a shot on him. But largely, going into this West Brom game, I do want to see the 4-3-3 used. Now, how have West Brom got on so far this season? They've done much better than Watford, it's fair to say. They're sitting pretty in the playoff positions. They're 5 points ahead of the Golden Boys. They're scoring plenty of goals as well. Their defence is certainly a little bit more solid than what we've seen from Watford so far, although they have had a few iffy results. Quite a heavy defeat to Millwall in there as well. So I don't think West Brom are going to be the best team Watford are going to come up against this season. Coventry at the weekend will of course be a tougher test, but they are up there in terms of teams I feel we'll be competing with if we are to get the playoff positions come May. Now, in terms of key players I like looking at their team, Josh Maja is one who always screams out to me. Alex Mowat in midfield as well. And yeah, I don't know what to expect really. I just want a clean sheet. A clean sheet would be nice. We've not kept one at all this season, which is certainly an issue, because that means if Watford are to win any games of football, we're constantly really having to come from behind and score a couple of goals just to have a chance of taking away 3 points. So certainly defensively, I want to stop the huge number of changes we're making under Paulo. We're making 5 or 6 changes a game. Of course, Javi changed his 11 once again against Sheffield United. So for me, I want Javi to hopefully very quickly, with the advice of his coaching staff and other people around the training ground, find his best 11, start them consistently, and start to build up really good relationships between the players on the pitch. Because right now, as we chop and change, it's very difficult for the Watford squad really to know what to do, where to be, where they should be at any given time. So yeah, I think number one priority for me is to get that defensive solidity back, keep a clean sheet, and yeah, have a a core to the team that we know will start consistently, where we've got 7, 8 or 9 players, or every single game we pretty much know what we're going to get. And we'll come on to my starting 11 now. Okay, here we go. So I got the tactics board out before the Sheffield United game, and I was trying to get myself in the mind of Javi Gracia, and I was quite accurate in predicting the system he would use. But for me, what you're seeing on screen now would be my ideal 11. It would be my ideal system. The players I've chosen, I feel in the long term would benefit Watford greatly if they start consistently together. So from back to front, of course, starting with Egil Selvik in goal. No questions about his selection whatsoever. Caleb Wiley at left back, again, that's a simple one for me. Of course, he's still, in my opinion, getting up to fitness and the standard we saw towards the end of last season. But as I said, I do think he is the best option we have at the club in that position, even though he did miss what I would call a big opportunity against Sheffield United. He definitely should have hit the target with that one. Max Alleyne, again, should come straight back into the 11. I'm not quite sure why he was dropped for Matty Pollock. Watford were trying to play out from the back many times against the Blades, and doing that with Pollock is certainly going to make your life a lot harder. And Max Alleyne so far this season has been probably in our top 3 most consistent performers. And Max Alleyne certainly, for me, should come straight back into the Watford team. James Abankwah, again, we know what he can offer. His ball progression and carrying up the pitch is second to none. So he is a must start for me. And I feel Kevin Caben has made a few too many mistakes in recent weeks as well, and is certainly not immune from criticism. So I would drop him for this game. Whilst Ngakia, I feel, is the best defensive fullback we have at the club. Mark Boller is probably in that bracket as well. I think long-term Jeremy Patry probably suits this team a lot more than Ngakia does. Now, I'm not too fast. If Ngakia started or Patry started, it wouldn't bother me too much. But I do feel long-term Jeremy Patry has the highest ceiling when you compare him to Ngakia anyway. The midfield two, and of course this is a 4-2-3-1 I've gone with, would be Imran Louza and Hector Cipriano. I thought both of them players actually had poor performances away at Bramall Lane. Hector probably up there as well. It certainly wasn't his best game. Louza hit the bar relatively late on as well. But I still do feel them two midfielders, they're right up there as one of the best at the club. Pierre Duomo, I would be tempted to play at some point as well. I'm a massive fan of him. But as our two sitting players, with Louza having the ability to obviously maraud further up the pitch and find them half spaces, I feel would be a good selection choice. So Louza and Hector in midfield for me. Of course, Georgie Shakfatatse is still unavailable. We're unsure as to when he'll return to the Watford team. It's looking like it may be after the next international break, maybe early to mid-November. I don't really know what's happening with him. Hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. But we need someone to fill the void of a 10 who can take a touch, turn and drive at the back line. And with all the quality we have in them areas, I do feel Rocco Batta is the perfect fit. We saw it last season against Fulham. He obviously scored that marvellous goal, but his ability to take the ball and drive forward with relative ease is really remarkable to watch. His dribbling ability actually reminds me a bit of Jack Clark at Ipswich. So yeah, high praise for Rocco Vata, and I do feel in that 10 position, whilst it's not perfect, I do feel he would be a really good fit. So Rocco Vata in the 10 for me. And this is quite simple now. Iran Kunda on the left. He's been a bit inconsistent as of late, it's fair to say, but he has been played out of position. I think it's fair to say he's been played in a front two with Luka Kiramgard, and whilst that's worked well in some instances this season, I do feel, again, looking long term, it's probably not his ideal position. I think you want Nestri Iran Kunda with his pace and skills and dribbling ability to really just take on his fullback, run at them, tire them out, and create opportunities from wide. So Iran Kunda out on the left, Kwadwo Bar on the right, without a doubt, and Luka Kiramgard up front. I do feel on Kiramgard he needs to offer a bit more than he has. He's probably, for sure, the best striker we have at the club currently when you compare him to Semedo and Mamadou Doumbia. But yeah, for me, sooner rather than later, he's got to start putting the ball in the back of the net. I think his movement needs to be slightly better. Some more runs to the near or far post would be good as well. But yeah, Luka Kiramgard would be my number 9 starting up front. So a 4-2-3-1. Let me know if you agree in the comments down below. Okay, that was my preferred starting 11 going into this one. What is my score prediction? Well, for the Blades, I went for a 1-1 draw. Watford ultimately lost that game by 1-0. I think for me, I have to be realistic here and not expect miracles straight away. But I have to say, I am desperate for a clean sheet. Please, I pray to the footballing gods, for one match only, I would love a clean sheet. So I'm going to go for quite a dull affair midweek. And I'm going to go for a 1-0 Watford win. Nestri Iran Kunda to get a screamer is what I'll go with. So let me know your predicted 11 and score predictions in the comments section down below. Ryan Mason and West Brom travelling to Vicarage Road. It should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. And as I said earlier, hopefully Javi will get a good reception. So before I go, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Follow us across all our social platforms. We are on Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube as well. And I should be back after the game or the day after for a post-match reaction. Bye-bye.